What would you do if your wife texted you a photo by mistake? A photo of her smiling in a restaurant with a man she swore she
The
didn't even.
message popped up while I was driving home, lighting up my phone screen with a preview I really wasn't supposed to see. It was my wife's name right at the top, followed by a photo. She was smiling, sitting in a dimly lit restaurant. But beside her was a man I'd never seen before, and he was leaning in a lot closer than any coworker ever should. My chest immediately tightened, but I tried to tell myself it was nothing, just a harmless picture. By the time I pulled into the driveway, my hands were shaking. I walked inside and found her on the couch, just scrolling through her phone as if nothing was wrong. I tried to sound casual as I asked her how her night was. She looked up and said it was boring, that she just had a quiet dinner alone to unwind. Hearing that lie felt like a physical punch to the gut. I didn't confront her right then and there. I couldn't. I needed to be absolutely sure. Later that night, long after she had fallen asleep, her phone buzzed again on the nightstand. I glanced over, and the same name appeared on the screen, this time with a message calling her beautiful. I just stared at it, frozen, wishing with everything in me that I hadn't seen it. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye like it was any other day, acting as if everything was perfectly normal. The moment she left, I grabbed my keys. I checked the restaurant's location from the photo. It was all the way across the city, nowhere near her office. I drove there, my heart pounding with every mile. I walked in and asked the host if a woman matching her description had been there the night before. He nodded instantly, without even hesitating. He said she was there, and she definitely wasn't alone. My heart just sank. It felt like it dropped right through the floor. But even then, a part of me needed undeniable, absolute proof. I waited until the weekend. She told me she had a work retreat and packed a small suitcase, giving me a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Something inside me, a quiet, gut-wrenching whisper, told me to follow her. So I did. I stayed a few cars behind her, driving for almost an hour until she pulled into a hotel just outside the city. She parked in the back, looking around nervously like she was trying to hide from someone. And then I saw him. The same man from the picture. I watched as he met her and they walked into the hotel hand in hand. The world around me just blurred. Rage and heartbreak twisted together inside me until I couldn't breathe. My hands were trembling, but I managed to pull out my phone and record a few seconds of them walking into the hotel together. It hurt to do it. It felt like I was documenting my own world falling apart. When I got home, I just sat on the couch in complete silence for hours. Every memory we ever shared suddenly felt poisoned, tainted by this betrayal. When she finally returned that night, she smelled of expensive cologne that wasn't mine. She told me the retreat went well and then asked why I was being so quiet. I just told her I was tired, even though my chest felt like it was about to collapse. The next day I confronted her, but I did it calmly. I asked her about the retreat again and watched as her eyes darted away, avoiding mine. She mumbled that it was stressful and she didn't want to talk about work. That's when I placed my phone on the coffee table between us and pressed play. Her face went completely pale as she watched the video of herself, holding his hand, walking into that hotel. She immediately tried to explain, but every excuse just tangled into another lie. She said they were just talking. I looked her in the eye and told her that just talking does unusually involve holding hands and booking hotel rooms. Her expression hardened then, shifting from guilt to irritation. She actually said I was being dramatic. I asked her why she kept lying to me, why she couldn't just tell me the truth. And her answer shattered what was left of my heart. She said, "Maybe I lied because I knew you wouldn't understand." She only confessed the whole truth when she realized that denial was no longer an option. She said she never planned for it to happen, that with him she felt alive again and didn't want to lose that feeling. I had to ask her, "When did you stop feeling alive with me?" She didn't have an answer. The silence in the room was so thick it felt like a heavy fog. Finally, she said she needed time to think. I told her she could think somewhere else because I was done being disrespected in my own home. She packed a bag slowly, looking back at me every few seconds as if she was expecting me to stop her, to beg her to stay. I didn't move. I just watched. As she walked out the door, she was crying, but my tears had already dried up. That night, the house felt painfully quiet. The emptiness hurt, but it was a clean kind of hurt, better than the suffocation of her lies. The next day, she sent a text saying she wanted to talk. I didn't respond. A little while later, she showed up at the door, begging me for another chance. She swore she had ended things with the other man. I asked her why she didn't end it before she destroyed our marriage. She just cried, saying she made a terrible mistake. I told her mistakes don't pack suitcases and send secret messages in the middle of the night. She begged me to forgive her. I told her forgiveness wasn't even the issue, trust was. The trust was gone, completely shattered. She promised she could earn it back. I just shook my head and said, "Trust doesn't regenerate like that." Then she asked the question I was dreading. "Do you still love me?" I told her that love wasn't the problem either. The problem was who she became when she thought I wasn't looking. She lowered her gaze then because she knew I was right. I told her we needed to separate for real this time. She didn't argue. When she finally left the house again, she looked smaller somehow, defeated. In the days that followed, I started to breathe easier each morning. The silence in the house no longer hurt. It felt like recovery. Eventually, she sent one last message. It said she hoped I'd find someone who would treat me better than she did. I read it once, put my phone down, and didn't reply. For the first time in a very long time, I felt like I was stepping out of someone else's shadow and into my own light. Sometimes losing the person who betrayed you is the very first step to finding yourself again. Thanks for listening.